Today on the Hobby Grotto, we're painting Graveguard. Now, I've done a tutorial on regular skeletons previously, but for more heavily armoured skeletons like this, I take a different approach, starting with an overbrush of the whole model with a mix of Rhinox hide and Iron Warriors to get a nice dirty old metal. An overbrush is just a heavy dry brush really. That black undercoat is just going to remain in the deepest recesses. Seeing as we're speed painting here, it's always great to cut down the time with the base coat of the primary colour, in this case metallic, which is also a bonus because that works so well with dry brushing already. This dry brush of Iron Warriors is much lighter because you don't want to remove too much of the brown base coat that we've already established. Undead minis are great for speed painting because they generally work so well with dry brushing, so make the most of that. This complete metallic covering of the model is going to save us heaps of time, and after that we're just going to repaint some of the details. Starting with the bone areas, these all get a base coat of XV88, which is an excellent colour to work up from for this. I love XV88, it's one of my favourite Citadel colours because it's so useful, particularly as a base for other colours. And I've previously shown this overall colour scheme in my Blood Knights video, but I wanted to show it again on a smaller scale miniature because you can cut a few more corners here, which is perfect for speed painting. Now I'm coming back with some bone. The XV88 base is going to make this work better, so one coat is probably enough. You don't have to be too neat here, the wash that's coming will cover most slip-ups, just make sure you're giving suitable attention to the focal points in the face and the hands. The robes on these miniatures are layered, so we can create a two-tone effect to give it a bit more visual interest. I'm painting the undergarment black so it doesn't take away from the lighter parts of the model, which are the bone and the green clothing. I like to create a lot of contrast on army painting just to make the whole package more bold on the tabletop. Now I'm painting the other parts of the clothing green, and as I mentioned in my other Soul Blight videos, this is just my personal colour scheme for my army, so you can supplement any colour you'd like here. Any other colour such as red or a purple would work just as well. Because this is a lighter colour and ends up with quite a few layers down the line, I always make sure this is very thin. And always remember that choosing a colour that pops like this can be very effective when army painting, especially to contrast with the other darker colours on the model. If you want, you can repaint some of the straps and details. I'm using Rhinox hide to break the colours up a bit in a subtle way, but these could just as easily be painted black in the previous step. It just all depends on the look you're going for, how fast you're trying to get these models out. It wouldn't be a Hobby Grotto tutorial without generous coats of Nuln Oil. If you want to create even more contrast in this shading stage, you can mix some black paint with the wash, or try the Dark Citadel contrast paint. Seeing as we don't have to worry about fiddly things like eyes, we can go straight into the layers and highlights now. This Ushabti bone is going to work with the previous tones we've established with the Nuln Oil shade, and now is the time to be neater. Even though we're trying to get these done fast, we don't want to mess up our previous work because it's a bit harder to fix stuff that's already been shaded, as it's created its own unique tone now. Some final highlights can be added to the bone with pure white, paying particular attention to the face and the eyes. For large areas of bone, I'd actually make a blend of Ushabti and white before going to the extreme highlight, but I don't think that's too necessary here. Now I took a break and managed to knock this guy off the table, which snapped his little helmet spike, so I've just removed all traces of it completely in case you're wondering where that went. Back to the painting. I like to spend a bit of time on the green. Because it's bright, it makes it a focal point. Also, I'm of the mindset that darker colours don't need as much highlighting, so we can splurge a little bit here, so to speak. This also makes up for spending less time on other areas of the model. It's all about picking your battles when it comes to speed painting, and cutting those corners where appropriate just to kind of create an overall look for the army. This is followed up with a 50-50 blend of Cyberite and Gorse-Blaster Green, and that's just going to improve the blend of our layers, followed by a final highlight of pure Gorse-Blaster Green to finish it off. I like to keep the highlights very minimal on a black, otherwise it starts to look a little too grey for my taste, so I'm just doing a couple of little highlights here with the Dawnstone, and if you ever go too far with this you can just put a bit more black wash on there, Nuln Oil, to bring it back down. As a final touch, I like to give a few highlights to the metal too with a brighter silver. This is something that definitely isn't necessary, but you can add some nice visual definition to the armoured parts if you have the time. I often do this stage after I've varnished the model, as I lean towards matte varnishes which tend to dull a bit of true metallic metal on the model, and this just helps bring some of the shine back. And that's the Graveguard. These miniatures are very simple to paint and they're a great addition to any Soulblight army, I reckon. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time on the Hobby Grotto.